Agriculture on the move.
Agricole mouvement.
Agriculture on the move.
Agricole en mouvement.
Agriculture on the move.
Agricole mouvement.
Agriculture on the move.
Agricole en mouvement. Hello everyone and welcome to the program Agriculture on the Move. I am Philip Sidney, your host. Today with me is the Minister responsible for Agriculture, Fisheries, Food Security and Rural Development, the Honorable Alfred Prosper. Welcome to the program, sir.
Thank you very much. It's always a pleasure to be here to discuss matters relating to agriculture.
Definitely. And of course, with your usual smile. Well, with that smile, Honorable, recently we were hit by Storm Brett, which affected the agricultural sector, the banana industry more so 75%, and also we had livestock and also the vegetable section. I'm sure farmers are looking for reprieve. Where are we now?
And I want to say to the farmers that I understand their pain, I understand their concerns. They are going through a period that they would not have expected to go through at this time. And obviously, we all would know at this time of year, considering that our country is within a hurricane belt, this is anticipated. But I want to say to the farmers that we have completed the collection of our data. A report has been submitted to the Prime Minister, and we are in the process of identifying where possible the funds can be obtained, if possible. Okay. And then when we get that, we will be able to give some information to the farmers as to what kind of support that we will be giving. Mm-hmm. But at this time, I'm not in a position to say what exactly will be given. But I do believe that the government that I'm part of understand the pain and plight of the farmers, will provide some support to the farmers in the short term. I also want to mention to the farmers that we just received a supply of 4,000 bags of fertilizer from Morocco. Every year Morocco makes that contribution. That fertilizer will be going to the farmers free of charge. 4 weeks ago, the same week of Brett, we were able to secure funding in the tune of $400,000 approved by the cabinet to provide fertilizer support, 40% subsidy. That is the third subsidy, because remember we had one in September, one in January this year, and we have a third one. But this time, this subsidy will be extended not just to banana farmers, but also to plantain farmers. This time, we will also be giving more than we gave in the previous subsidies, where it was the 25 kg bags of fertilizer, 2 per acre. Now we are going to be giving the 50 kg bags, 2 per acre, plus some nematicides, where each farmer will be getting a subsidy of 2 liters per acre. Okay. But we have decided to hold back on the distribution of the fertilizer because we believe that the farmers need some kind of income support to rehabilitate their fields, to replant, and to get back into a position where they can, prepare their plantation for the next 4, 5, 6 months. Mm-hmm. So we are saying that we will wait until the government has decided what kind of support. And from there, we will determine as to when we will distribute the 400 bags or 1,000 bags of fertilizer, as well as the third subsidy that was approved by the Cabinet of Ministers. So I want to call on our farmers to just be a little patient. We understand what they are going through. And so as soon as we get information in terms of what level of support we will be providing, we will definitely inform them at the soonest.
Definitely. I know recently, you have traveled, of course, to St. Vincent, Costa Rica. We wanted to know exactly, what happened at those meetings that you attended. I'm sure St. Lucia will benefit a lot from that. So can you tell us exactly what?
I was in St. Vincent on the 13th and 14th of July attending a meeting of sustainable use of fisheries. And it was basically a meeting that is held every year to discuss issues like sustainable fisheries, the sargassum seaweed and its impacts on livelihoods, the blue economy. So we had this meeting in St. Vincent for 2 days, but the opportunity was available for each country minister, to have a bilateral with the vice minister of Japan. And so the first day we met and we discussed cooperation between Japan and St. Lucia and what Japan was doing and how Japan was assisting us in terms of fisheries. At that bilateral, you as the minister would be in a position to make a request for funding support in areas that you think that is necessary in fisheries. And that bilateral, I did express our concerns, considering that our fisheries facilities, most, if not all of them, were donated by the government of Japan. But I stress the need for rehabilitation and upgrade of those facilities, because after those facilities were established, there was no maintenance plan in place. And just recently, the government of Taiwan contributed 1.1 million EC dollars. And so work has commenced on some of the fisheries facilities like Dennery. We are putting together plans to upgrade the washroom facility in Miku. We are going to do some work in Vieux-Fort, in Soufrière, in Ancillary Canaries, and Grosili. But I still made a request for assistance from the Japanese in terms of further assistance to upgrade those facilities. I also made a request for training and building capacity, you know, in terms of our fisheries, our young fishers, you know, new techniques at sea, you know, some of the new technologies that, you know, Japan and other countries are adopting, and, you know, we are not there yet. And I made a request for some kind of level of support and training for our fishers to be able to go to Japan, or Japanese technical people to come down to train our fishers. I also raised the question of our fishers facing distress at sea. Yes. Whilst we are already implementing the vessel monitoring device, I did make a request for more support in terms of how we can reduce in terms of the loss of our fishermen at sea. So that was well taken. And also I have expressed the whole issue of the sargassum and the build-up of the sargassum on our beaches and how it can really impact the livelihoods of our people. And they have indicated that they will provide some level of support to us in terms of dealing with those issues. I really, on behalf of the government, I thank them for the work that they are doing in the social fishing port. And they just approved 5-point-something million in this financial year to continue the work in terms of growing and so on, in terms of dealing with the issue of the build-up of silt at the entrance of the port. So it was a very good meeting, but from there I flew across to Costa Rica to attend a meeting with ICA, Inter-American Institute for Cooperation on Agriculture, and it was a 5-day meeting, no, it was a 4-day meeting from the 18th to the 22nd, and it was a meeting that brought together ministers of agriculture from the Caribbean and Latin America. And as you know, ICA has been a very important partner to us in St. Lucia, and you know the work that Greg Rollins is doing, and ICA in terms of collaboration. And the whole focus was building resilience in terms of the agricultural sector, in terms of looking at the impacts of climate change, food insecurity, and other areas of cooperation that ICA can really, really establish and develop with the countries. So it afforded each Minister of Agriculture to be able to give their vision and perspective as to how they see agriculture moving forward and what role ICA can play in terms of making that happen. Now, aside ICA, there was a call for CARI, FAO, and other partners to come together to really address this food security crisis. So it was a really open discussion where every Minister of Agriculture, both from the Caribbean and Latin America, expressed their concerns as to how they think ICA should continue working with the region in terms of dealing with those emerging issues. The last 2 days was very, very interesting because we were able to go to an institution called CATIE. And that is an institution that is involved in a lot of research on cocoa and coffee and livestock. But they are also providing a lot of training and capacity building, to students in various parts of the Caribbean and Latin America. So areas like agriculture and forestry and climate change and food security, all of that, they are offering those programs on a short-term basis. And we felt as ministers from the Caribbean, that was an opportune time for us to work closely with that institution, to be able to share information, to be able to assist our staff in terms of building the capacity. And we thought it was a very good opportunity for us to be there. But more significantly, that institution is doing research on the TR4 disease, the tropical race disease that is posing a threat to banana and plantain species in Asia, in Latin America, and possibly, you can never tell, it can get to the Caribbean. And what they are doing is that the kind of Cavendish variety of bananas, which is what we have, they have identified a new variety of bananas in Brazil that is considered to be resistant to the TR4 disease.
Wow.
But that banana is not of commercial value. You cannot sell it. It has no commercial value because it gives you a small bunch. But they are now working towards using that resistant variety to do whatever they call it, research to build the resistant level in Cavendish. So just like Australia is doing and other countries are doing, they are hoping that we can develop a new variety that will be resistant in terms of the Cavendish. Now, one of the concerns that was raised in terms of the discussion we were having on the TR4 was that the concern is that the disease started in Asia, so you have it in countries like Colombia and Australia, but it has traveled thousands and thousands of miles from those countries to Latin America, Peru, Venezuela, and they are saying that if it has gotten to those countries so far away, then it is very likely that it can get to the Caribbean very, very soon. And considering the location of Venezuela versus Trinidad, the movement of people between Trinidad and Venezuela, and the movement of people between Trinidad and St. Lucia, it is very likely that diseases can get here. And this is why we have already started work as a ministry to sensitize, to increase our biosecurity at our ports, to inform the farmers and to get everybody on board to ensure that we can prevent it from getting into St. Lucia. But on the other hand, if it gets there, sometimes it's already there. We need to be able to ensure that we have everybody on board to put controls to avoid the spread. So it was a very, very good session. We were able to see various agricultural systems, silvopastoral systems, where you have cattle on the same piece of land where you have trees. We were able to visit various small agribusiness involving cocoa and production of chocolate and other value-added products. We were able to see a lot of the research that they were doing in terms of coffee production, cocoa production. So it really, really brought us together. And what we recommended was for the Caribbean countries to come together and be able to take full advantage of the opportunities available through this institution via ICA, CADI, and the other partners to really, really benefit in terms of our food security, dealing with climate change matters, and all of the issues confronting us in terms of food and nutrition insecurity.
In terms of training, are you saying that we're hoping to get our staff trained through that institution? Yes,
I did have a very long discussion with the head of that institution. His name is Dr. Mohammed. He's an individual from Guyana. And what he said is that they are offering sustainable agriculture courses, agroforestry, sustainable forestry, food and nutrition insecurity, climate change, a range of short-term courses. And I did inform my peers as soon as I got into St. Lucia Monday that we need to take advantage of this because our training, our capacity in terms of our extension officers and forest officers and other officers, that would be an advantage. But they are saying that we need to have a certain number of people for them to be able to conduct the training. So you can have a training with 5 people at the institution. So what we have done as Agriculture Ministry is to have a discussion for us to be able to identify people from Grenada and the other countries, and so we can decide if
the numbers
are correct, and so we can say this is the focus now. Sustainable agriculture, we are sending people to that. We are sending people for agroforestry, and so it will be organized form of getting that done, rather than St. Lucia saying I have 4, but then that's the only 4 we have. And so, but they're also offering some of those courses via virtual.
Okay.
So it's also an opportunity for us to be able to stay in our homes and offices and still do it. But I saw it as a very, very cool opportunity for us to capitalize on and to bring that level of capacity and training for our staff.
Great. We are due for a break. You're watching Agriculture on the Move. Stay tuned. Don't go away. More to come.
The Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries, Food Security and Rural Development is placing heavy emphasis on the concept of food security. It's our prosperity, our future. The ministry facilitates the development and promotion of sustainable agriculture and food chain systems, the provision of affordable supplies of safe, high-quality nutritious food, and efficient services. One of its support programs is in the field of banana production, including the establishment of the Black Sikatoka Management Unit, sales and distribution of fungicides and oil at subsidized cost, technical and extension support, and market access facilitation. For further information, contact the project coordinator at 725-0444.
Welcome back to the program, Agriculture on the Move, and of course, my guest, the Honorable Alfred Prosper, the Minister responsible for Agriculture. So, the TR4 we spoke about, which is very, very crucial for our banana industry. And of course, not only banana, we talk about planting all the Musa species. I know we have started putting things in place. Can you bring the public up to date as where we are today?
Well, when I got to know of the TR4 and I got to know of its devastating effect and what it can do to the banana industry, I immediately said to my PS and my team that we must take some proactive measures to inform the public. And we immediately set up a committee. The committee is headed by Mr. Winston Elliott of the research unit, together with other persons in the ministry, and as well as Prosper. And the goal and objective of this committee is to really go out there and sensitize the public, especially the farmers. SLASPA has a very important role to play in terms of biosecurity.
At the ports?
At the ports, at the airports. And so if we can prevent the entry of that, then it makes it easier for us rather than allowing to come in and then we have difficulty in controlling. So what the committee has been doing is to engage the farmers. Just yesterday I attended a meeting of the farmers, NFTO farmers in Laka, and I was able to stress the point to them that if there is one time that farmers have to come together is now. Because this disease is not one like leaf spot where you can control it. Once this disease found itself in the soil, it's a fungal disease. It will remain in the soil as long as possible. And there is nothing like bananas or anything that will be able to grow there. So I told them that is an opportunity for them to come together because it is about their livelihood. I had to ask them to just imagine for the next few weeks, they are observing a trend of the banana trees are just getting discolored and they are seeing signs of that disease. How are they going to survive from there on? And so it was a very good meeting, and I must take time to thank Mr. Winston and his team. He has been doing an excellent job. And I want him to continue doing that because he understands the value of what he's doing. He understands the significance of that industry. And he's doing the best he can with the rest of his team. And I'm calling on the rest of St. Lucia to give support. Everybody, this is not just a Ministry of Agriculture thing or just farmers, but it's about St. Lucia. It's about an industry that, impacts the livelihood of many people. And it's an industry that has supported persons in terms of education, development of the country. And so I'm really happy with the work, and I'm hoping that this disease will never get into St. Lucia. and we will put all measures in place to ensure that it does not happen and the industry is secured as much as possible.
Definitely. Mr. Minister, yesterday was 2 years since you became
2 years, yes.
the Minister for Agriculture. A lot has happened under your watch, but I'm sure you are in a better position than myself to see the successes.
Yes, and I'm very happy, and I want to take time to thank not just myself. It's not about me, it's about the ministry and the government. And whatever we've achieved in the last 2 years cannot just be mine. It's the entire staff of the ministry, and I want to say a big thank you to all the staff of the ministry for their contribution towards where we are. And I must say, when we came in, the banana industry was in a mess, and we set up the task force. We went to London and so on, and we resumed exports to the UK, but unfortunately we had to come. It came to a stop because of challenges with quality and the high cost of shipping and so on. But it was a very good thing that we did in terms of doing a review of the industry. But I'm happy that we are doing well in terms of the region, although we are not meeting the demand. But that too is important, and I believe a big achievement for us, and I don't say for me, for us, the ministry, is the work that we are doing in Volet.
Yes.
This work, when I came in, they had already started, but we are putting a lot of infrastructure there, and to really commission what we consider to be the Volet agricultural station. I'm hoping that we can commission this place in the next few weeks so that we can continue to provide the services in terms of what we were doing at Bousséjour to the farmers. We are going to have an artificial insemination program that will help farmers be able to get their stock, livestock and so on, and everything else that comes with it. I think that is very good for the ministry. In terms of the diversification program, the cocoa project costing $1.4 million that we launched last year, I believe that will help a lot of our farmers focus on a commodity of produce that there is a high market for. At the meeting in Costa Rica, it was just surprising to hear that the Caribbean cannot meet the demands of cocoa because there is a high export market. And I heard that places like Trinidad were offering 20 TT per pound of cocoa. So there's a high demand for it, and I believe that's an opportunity for us to be able to take advantage of it. In terms of fisheries, we saw the approval of the fisheries policy by the Cabinet of Ministers. We also saw an amendment being done to the Agriculture and Incentives Act, where we provide opportunities for our fishers and farmers to be able to buy other products that were not in the previous act. We can see that we have been giving attention to the fishes in terms of the fad material. We have procured material for 9 fads, and we are going to distribute those fads to the various fishing communities to assist them with the fishing needs. We have been installing the vessel monitoring device, and for the fishers. We launched the second phase of the 7 crops program. We just launched a new project, Climate Adaptation Fund, costing $9.6 million that will go into various forms of agriculture and support for agriculture. We have been we have been giving a lot of support to the CMOS farmers in collaboration with Export St. Lucia. Thank you, Export St. Lucia, in terms of drying tables and floaters.
That's right.
A number of projects we have done, and I wish I could have speak to a lot more. The subsidies on fertilizer, 9,000 bags of fertilizer, in terms of support to our farmers, and more subsidies to come. We give farmers support in terms of the 4,000 bags of fertilizer from the Moroccan government, and we just received another 4,000 bags this week. So we've been doing a lot, and I want to continue that trend to be able to impact the lives of farmers. The new technology in terms of the small tillers and other cultivators that we brought into the sector through the Taiwanese program. It's just a list of them that I can't remember everything, but I am really happy where we are, but I believe we can do a lot more, and there is a lot more agro-processing in terms of support. We had the banana festival, we had the mango festival, we had the CMOS festivals, so we had a number of festivals that really help showcase a lot of what the people are doing in agro-processing with bananas, with our fruits, and I know we have more of these to come this year.
Yes.
The farmers markets, there is a lot that has been happening, but I'm still concerned that we need to do a little more, and I'm really concerned about agricultural insurance, because agricultural insurance is important for our farmers, not just for our farmers, but the entire sector. When you have agricultural insurance, there is less dependency on government to compensate farmers and fishers when they are impacted by a natural disaster. And this is one of the things that that really is close, that is really close to my heart in terms of reaching out and making sure that we can provide that for those farmers. There's a lot more we have to do and we can do. You know, we want to be able to push agroponics because that is important, and the Taiwanese have been giving us support on that. We want to really, I want to see the commissioning of this agro-processing facility in Babono. There are a number of persons who have indicated interest in it, and we are hoping that before the end of this year we can see a reopening of that facility, because I believe agro-processing is very important. The marketing board has gotten a subvention of $250,000 this year, and I'm sure that will go a long way in assisting the marketing board in buying more from farmers and paying farmers on time. Farmers with disabilities receive a $10,000 allocation this year from the government. So we have gotten a lot done, and there's a lot more to come. There is honey, food, and in honey we have done quite a lot in honey. The government has allocated money, to assist the honey farmers, and there is this big project which is soon to be implemented. Is the World Bank project in terms of looking at food insecurity in the sum of $10 million that has to be spent in 1 year. You look at 10 million US, which is about 27 million EC to be spent in 1 year. And that is all about, most of it will be spent in the agricultural sector. So we'll be looking at fertilizer support, we'll be looking at support to the fishers, livestock, bringing new breeds of livestock into St. Lucia, and a number of things that will really help transform the sector. So I'm very excited, I'm very happy, and I must say I'm very proud of the ministry. I'm very happy for the support of the cabinet of ministers, my team in the ministry, and everybody who played a part in allowing this ministry or facilitating this ministry being able to speak of these achievements.
But moving forward, how would you want to see your legacy in the ministry?
Yes, that's a very important question. I believe that as a person who worked in the ministry for 44 years, not as an agricultural officer, but as a forester, there is a lot that I think we can do. I believe what is important for me is to leave the ministry knowing that I have made a big contribution to the sector as the minister responsible for that sector. And I believe what is important is to ensure that the farmers understand that this ministry understood its role in terms of the level of support that is needed for the farmers, and so the farmers will feel that we understand the plight, we understand the significance of their role in terms of food production and how critical it is for food security and feeding ourselves. I believe if the farmers can say that this minister, this time between 2021 and whatever time, that they can see that this ministry did what was needed and the farmers were able to benefit from it, and in turn the farmers produced what was necessary coming out of that level of support.
Yes.
And I believe there is still a lot to be done. Our extension officers need to be a lot more present and give that kind of technical support to the farmers. But what I really want to see is the farmers saying, we are getting the support from the ministry, and the ministry saying the farmers are doing what they have to do to be able to take care of our food security for our country.
Great. Well, you come to the end of the program.
Thank you very much.
You said a lot, but I wish you success, and I know you will get the support of the ministry and staff, ensuring that we reach our goals as we move forward.
Yeah, thank you
again for being here.
Yes, thank you very much.
Yes. You've been watching Agriculture on the Move. I want to thank you for viewing the program, and I want to, of course, my guest, Honorable Minister Alfred Prosper, for what he has done thus far. And there's a lot to come. Trust me, there's a lot to come. Thank you again for viewing. And remember, agriculture is our business, and eat fresh. St. Lucia's best. Thank you, and goodbye.
Agriculture on the move.
Agricole mouvement.
Agriculture on the move.
Agricole en mouvement.
Agriculture Agriculture on the move.
Agricole en mouvement.
Agriculture on the move.
Agricole en mouvement.